It's a strange thing, isn't it? We spend our younger years taking our bodies for granted, running, working, staying up late, rarely thinking about the complex systems that keep everything humming along. And then one day, maybe after 60, you wake up and notice something's different. Your energy isn't quite the same, your stamina is lower, and even your performance down there feels, well, not what it used to be. I've had men describe it to me as if a dimmer switch has been turned down over the years, and they're looking for a way to brighten it again. I remember one gentleman, Harold, who came into my office on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Harold was 67, retired, a man who had worked with his hands all his life. He was the kind of fellow who used to spend weekends chopping wood and still have the energy to dance with his wife at night. But lately, he told me the dance floor had been empty, his energy was unpredictable, and he said something quietly, almost embarrassed. He'd noticed his circulation down there wasn't the same. He had a look in his eyes that told me it wasn't just about physical changes. This was about his identity as a man, his connection with his wife, and his sense of vitality. That's when I introduced myself to Harold, as I'll introduce myself to you. My name is Dr. Nolan Easton. I'm a men's health specialist, and for over 30 years, I've helped men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond find ways to reclaim their energy, performance, and confidence. And no, it's not about chasing youth. It's about supporting your body in the stage you're in right now, so you can live fully and enjoy what matters most. When it comes to circulation down there, there's something I want you to remember. This isn't just about intimacy. It's about blood flow, oxygen delivery, and overall vitality. The same small arteries that supply the pelvic region are like little messengers for the rest of your health. If they're slowing down, chances are other parts of your body are affected too. So when we talk about foods that can improve this circulation, we're not only talking about helping your performance, we're talking about fueling your heart, your brain, your muscles, your entire well-being. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture the tiny capillaries in your body like a network of country roads. When you're young, those roads are clear, smooth, and traffic moves easily. But over time, if we're not careful, those roads can get clogged with debris, narrowed by wear and tear, or blocked altogether. That's when you start noticing slower circulation, lower energy, and yes, a drop in performance in places you never thought would change. The good news, certain foods act like gentle road crews. They clear debris, widen the lanes, and keep traffic moving so your body can function at its best. Harold wasn't eating poorly by most people's standards, but like many men his age, he was missing some very specific nutrients, foods that could have made all the difference in his circulation. He was eating plenty of calories, but not necessarily the kinds of foods that nourish blood vessels or keep nitric oxide production high. Nitric oxide is a natural compound your body makes to help blood vessels relax and open, improving flow. After 60, your body makes less of it, which is why the right foods become even more important. Before I go further, I want to make a small request. If you've made it this far and you're thinking, yes, this is speaking to me, just tap the like button and subscribe. It helps this message reach more men who need it, and it lets me know you're out there listening. And while you're at it, drop a simple yes or no in the comments. I do read them, and your feedback tells me how to better guide these conversations so they're as helpful to you as possible. When Harold and I sat down to talk, I didn't just hand him a list of foods. I wanted him to understand why they work, how they fit into his life, and what changes he could realistically make. I told him, think of this as building a foundation, Harold. If we strengthen the base, everything on top gets stronger too. We looked at what he was eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and began swapping in nutrient-rich options that support endothelial function. That's just a fancy term for keeping the inner lining of your blood vessels healthy and flexible. The first change was simple. We introduced a food that's rich in naturally occurring nitrates, which the body can convert to nitric oxide. But here's the key. It's not just about eating it once in a while. Consistency is where the magic happens. By making this part of his daily routine, Harold was giving his blood vessels a steady supply of what they needed to stay open and flexible. I explained to him that poor circulation isn't always an overnight development. Often it's been building for years, silently. The small signs, cold hands and feet, slower recovery after activity, changes in stamina, are the early warnings. And in men, reduced circulation in the pelvic region can be one of the first noticeable symptoms. That's why I'm passionate about this topic, because addressing it early can transform not just physical performance, but the confidence and connection that come with it. Over the next few weeks, Harold started feeling changes. Not dramatic movie scene transformations, but subtle improvements. He told me one day, "I didn't get tired halfway through walking the dog." Another time he grinned and said, "Let's just say my wife noticed something too." Those moments matter because they're signs the body's responding, that those country roads we talked about are clearing and opening again. You might be wondering if this means spending more at the grocery store or buying exotic, hard-to-find foods. The answer is no. The most powerful changes often come from simple, everyday foods you can find in any store. Foods that have been studied for their ability to improve blood flow, support cardiovascular health, and help men over 60 keep that sense of vitality alive. And the beauty is, these foods don't just work for one area, they're good for your whole body. I remember Harold telling me he wished he'd started sooner. He said, "If I'd known this was possible in my 60s, I wouldn't have spent the last few years just accepting that things were going downhill." That's why I share these stories, because I don't want you to think it's too late or that changes are out of reach. They're not. So as we explore the top 3 essential foods for boosting circulation down there after 60, remember that this isn't about chasing your 30-year-old self. It's about being the strongest, most vibrant version of who you are right now. It's about restoring energy, enjoying deeper connections, and feeling confident in your own skin again. And as Harold would tell you, once you start, the benefits have a way of showing up in more areas of life than you might expect. When Harold first began making the changes we discussed, he told me something that really stuck with me. "Doc," he said, "it's funny. I've been trying to solve this problem by thinking about it as a bedroom issue. I never thought about it as a whole body issue." That shift in perspective is critical. When men in their 60s and 70s begin to see that their performance down there is directly tied to what's going on everywhere else in the body, they start to understand just how much power they have to improve it. And that's where food comes in. You see, the same foods that help open up those smaller pelvic arteries are also feeding your heart, your brain, and your muscles. They're doing quiet, behind-the-scenes work to repair cells, reduce inflammation, and keep your blood vessels young and flexible. Think of them as your daily maintenance crew, showing up every day, making small improvements you might not notice at first, but that add up over time into big, visible changes. I remember explaining this to Harold while holding up a simple vegetable from my kitchen. I told him, "This isn't fancy. You don't have to grow it yourself or shop at a special store. But what's inside here can literally open up your blood vessels." He looked at me like I'd just told him I could pull a rabbit out of a hat. But then I explained the science in plain English. Certain plant foods are naturally rich in compounds that convert into nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide is what helps your blood vessels relax, widen, and carry more blood where it's needed, yes, including down there. It wasn't long before Harold started asking me about other foods. "If this one works, Doc, what about that one?" That's when I knew he'd caught on. The key isn't to eat one magical food and hope for the best. It's to build a pattern of eating that keeps your circulation supported every single day. And it doesn't require strict dieting or giving up everything you love. In fact, some of the most circulation-friendly foods are flavorful, satisfying, and easy to add to what you're already eating. Here's something I want to emphasize to you as well. After 60, your body doesn't bounce back from poor habits as quickly as it once did, but it also responds more noticeably when you give it what it needs. That's why making even a small change to your diet can sometimes feel like flipping a switch you didn't know was there. One of the first shifts Harold made was swapping his usual processed breakfast for a nutrient-rich option that naturally boosts nitric oxide and improves blood vessel flexibility. Within a week, he noticed more sustained energy through the day.
After 2 weeks, he said the heaviness he used to feel in his legs after sitting for a while was gone. And about a month in, he shared that he'd experienced a very welcome improvement in his bedroom performance. He didn't give me details. He didn't have to. The smile on his face said it all. That's the thing about circulation. It doesn't improve in isolation. When your blood flow is better, your body moves more easily, your mind is sharper, and your stamina, both physical and intimate, gets a boost. It's like watering a plant. You don't just water the flower at the top, you nourish the roots, and the whole plant begins to thrive. Now, some men hear this and say, "Doc, I've been eating meat and potatoes all my life, and I'm doing just fine." And I get that. I'm not here to tell you to give up everything you've enjoyed. But I am here to tell you that adding specific foods into your routine, foods your blood vessels love, can mean the difference between getting by and feeling truly alive. And the best part is, these foods are as beneficial for your heart and brain as they are for your performance. Before we go deeper, I want to pause and ask you something. If you've been nodding along and thinking, "This makes sense to me," go ahead and tap that like button. It's a small thing, but it helps me keep bringing you practical, real-world advice you can use. And I'd like you to drop a simple yes or no in the comments to let me know, have you ever thought about your performance as being linked to your overall circulation? I do read every response, and your answers guide the topics I cover for you. When Harold began incorporating the second of these foods, something interesting happened. He found himself naturally reaching for healthier options without even thinking about it. He'd tell me, "Doc, it's not like I'm forcing myself, it just feels better this way." That's because when your circulation improves, you also get better nutrient delivery to your brain, which affects everything from decision-making to mood. And when you're feeling clear and more energetic, it's easier to keep up with healthy habits. One Saturday morning, Harold's wife called me. She said, "I don't know what you've done, but my husband is a new man." She wasn't just talking about intimacy. She meant he was more present, more talkative, more eager to get out of the house and do things again. That's what I want for you, to see this not as a narrow fix, but as a whole life upgrade. So many men think that changes in performance after 60 are inevitable and irreversible. But as Harold learned, and as I've seen with countless patients, the body has an incredible ability to respond at any age when given the right support. And when you start supplying it with circulation-boosting foods, you're not only addressing the immediate concern, you're protecting your future health as well. I'll tell you this, when the blood vessels in your pelvic region are healthy and open, it's often a sign that your cardiovascular system is in good shape overall. That's why some experts even call performance issues the canary in the coal mine for heart health. It's your body's early warning system, and if you pay attention and take action, you can often prevent bigger problems down the road. By the time Harold had been following this new approach for 3 months, his transformation was undeniable. His energy was steady all day, his walks with the dog were longer and more enjoyable, and he felt confident again, not just in the bedroom, but in every part of his life. And it all started with understanding that food could be his ally, not just a source of calories. You might be surprised how quickly you can start to feel changes yourself. Your body wants to heal, wants to function at its best. It just needs the right building blocks. And those building blocks can be as simple as the foods you choose to put on your plate today, tomorrow, and every day after.
One of the moments I'll never forget with Harold happened about halfway through his journey. He came into my office, sat down, and said, "Doc, I think I finally understand something. I thought slowing down after 60 was just nature taking its course. But now I see that nature gives us tools, we just forget to use them." That statement is exactly why I've spent over 3 decades helping men reconnect with what their bodies truly need. By this point, Harold had already added 2 of the 3 essential foods we talked about into his daily life. His energy was stronger, his mood was lighter, and his wife was enjoying his renewed enthusiasm for life. But there was one more key food I wanted him to try, one that would round out his circulation support in a way the other 2 couldn't. This third food was all about protecting the integrity of his blood vessels. As I explained to Harold, your blood vessels aren't just hollow tubes, they're living tissue. They expand, contract, repair, and regenerate. But as we age, the inner lining, called the endothelium, can get damaged from years of stress, less than perfect eating, and natural wear. When that lining is damaged, blood vessels can stiffen and narrow, making it harder for blood to move freely. And that's when men start to notice the physical signs we've been talking about. This particular food is rich in antioxidants and specific plant compounds that directly help the endothelium repair itself. In plain language, it keeps the walls of your blood vessels smooth and responsive, so when your body calls for more blood flow, whether it's to your muscles during a walk, to your brain when you're thinking, or down there when the moment is right, it can deliver without hesitation. When Harold started incorporating this final food, he noticed something he hadn't expected. He told me one afternoon, "I feel like I've got more control over my body again." And that's exactly what good circulation gives you: control. It's the difference between feeling like you're at the mercy of time and feeling like you're still the one in the driver's seat. I want to pause for a second here, because I know some of you watching might be thinking, "Doc, I'm not sure if I have the discipline for this." Let me reassure you, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to change your entire diet overnight. The power is in small, consistent steps. If you can add just one of these foods into your life today and keep doing it, you're already moving in the right direction. Now, if this message is hitting home for you, do me a favor. Hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and tap the bell so you don't miss my future advice. And let me know in the comments with a simple yes or no. Do you believe food can make this kind of difference in your circulation and vitality? I read your answers personally, and they help me shape content that speaks directly to your needs. Harold's wife told me something privately one day, and I think it's worth sharing. She said, "It's not just that he's more energetic in the bedroom, he's laughing more, smiling more, and talking to me in a way he hasn't in years." That right there is what I want every man to understand. Improving circulation isn't just about physical function, it's about the emotional and relational benefits that come when you feel good in your own skin again. Some men come to me convinced they need a prescription to fix their performance issues. And while there's a place for medication in certain cases, I've seen over and over again how addressing the root, blood vessel health, can often make those prescriptions unnecessary. The body has an incredible capacity to heal and adapt, especially when you give it the right tools. With Harold, those tools came in the form of everyday foods, eaten consistently. Over time, the nutrients in these foods supported his nitric oxide production, kept his blood vessels flexible, reduced inflammation, and improved his overall cardiovascular health. And the results weren't just physical. He felt more confident, more in control, and more connected to his wife. I think about Harold's journey often because it mirrors what I've seen in so many of my patients over the years. The starting point is usually frustration, a feeling that something precious has been lost. But the turning point comes when they realize there's still so much they can do to influence their health, no matter their age. I'll tell you this plainly. After 60, circulation becomes one of the most important indicators of your quality of life. Good circulation means better oxygen delivery, better nutrient distribution, and better performance across the board, physically, mentally, and intimately. And the foods we've talked about aren't complicated, expensive, or exotic. They're simple, accessible, and powerful when used consistently. The best part is that these foods don't just improve blood flow in the short term, they help protect your vessels for the long term. So not only can you see results in weeks or months, but you're also safeguarding yourself against bigger health issues down the road. And that's a gift to yourself and to the people who love you. By the time Harold had fully integrated all three foods into his daily life, he no longer thought of them as medicine or a plan. They were just part of how he lived. And that's the sweet spot, when healthy choices become habits, and those habits quietly keep you strong, vibrant, and ready for the moments that matter most. When Harold came in for his last follow-up that year, I barely recognized the man I'd first met. His posture was straighter, his handshake firmer, and his whole face carried that unmistakable glow of someone who feels good in his own skin. He sat down, leaned back, and said, "Doc, I feel like I've gotten a piece of my life back." And that right there, that's the reason I do this work. You see, for Harold, this wasn't just about performance down there.
It was about energy to walk the dog without stopping halfway. It was about the confidence to take his wife dancing again. It was about feeling sharp enough to tackle the crossword in the morning and strong enough to work in the garden all afternoon. And yes, it was also about rekindling that quiet, intimate connection that only he and his wife shared. The top 3 essential foods we focused on worked together in a powerful way. One supported nitric oxide production to open up those blood vessels. Another nourished the lining of those vessels to keep them smooth and responsive. And the last one acted like a long-term bodyguard, protecting Harold's circulation from the wear and tear that comes with age. Together, they gave him back something no pill alone could provide, the foundation for lasting energy, performance, and vitality. I want you to picture this for yourself. Imagine sitting in your favorite chair a year from now, looking back and realizing you didn't just let time pass. You took action. You added a few simple foods to your routine, and in doing so, you gave your body the chance to work the way it's meant to. You've got more energy, your mind feels sharper, and yes, when the moment calls for it, your circulation down there is ready to deliver. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you support your body consistently. Before I go on, let me ask you, has this message resonated with you? If it has, tap the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll know when I share more practical advice like this. And please, take a second to drop a yes or no in the comments. I read your feedback personally, and it helps me guide these conversations in the way that serves you best. Harold's story could easily be yours, not because he's special in some way, but because he decided to take small, steady steps. He didn't overhaul his life overnight. He didn't give up all the foods he loved. He simply added the right ones, day after day, and let time and consistency do their work. And the results didn't just change his health, they changed how he lived his life. Here's the truth I want to leave you with. After 60, you still have incredible potential for improvement. Your body may not respond exactly the way it did at 25, but it will respond, often faster than you expect, when you give it the right tools. Circulation isn't just about the plumbing, as I like to say. It's about life itself. Good circulation brings oxygen to your brain so you can think clearly. It delivers nutrients to your muscles so you can stay active. It fuels the most personal parts of your life so you can maintain that spark and connection. And don't underestimate the ripple effect. When your circulation improves, your energy rises. When your energy rises, you move more. When you move more, your mood improves. And when your mood improves, you're more engaged with the people around you. It's a cycle that can start with something as simple as what you put on your plate. The 3 foods we discussed today are tools you can start using immediately. They won't just help you in the bedroom. They'll help you in the garden, at the dinner table, walking through the park, or laughing with friends. They'll help you feel like yourself again, maybe even a version of yourself you haven't felt in years. As Harold shook my hand that final visit, he said something I think about often. "Doc, I didn't just get my circulation back, I got my life back." And that's exactly what I want for you. So, wherever you are today, whether you're feeling frustrated, discouraged, or simply curious about what's possible, know this: you're not done yet. Your body still wants to work for you. Give it the right support, and it will surprise you. And when it does, you'll look back and realize the choice you made today was the start of something better. Stay well, stay strong, and remember, you have more control over your vitality than you've been led to believe. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and I'll see you in the next video.